Hello friends, and welcome to The Electrochemist. Thank you for tuning into the channel. On this channel, we discuss all things battery development, including existing lithium-ion batteries, new and emerging battery systems, battery supply chain, battery production, and battery application. If this is something that interests you, please subscribe to this channel and keep watching. Now guys, we've got a wonderful, interesting news today. Scientists have discovered a battery that potentially delivers 7x the energy density of lithium and 620 miles on a single charge. Now, that has definitely got my attention, and I'm sure it's going to get your attention. Now, Japanese researchers are accelerating efforts to develop next-generation batteries that would allow an electric vehicle to travel 1,000 kilometers on a single charge. Wow, that is so amazing, guys. I mean, just imagine if such a battery exists today. It would mean almost all the airplanes in your skies will be electric. And that would definitely be something wonderful to see. A battery that can do this will truly revolutionize the industry. And can you believe that this battery will be made from something you use to brush your teeth on a daily basis? That's right, guys. Your toothpaste can potentially power your car and your home. So hey, maybe next time you need energy, you can simply chuck a load of toothpaste into your car, and who knows, it just may work. But I would advise best not to do that, mate. On a serious note, fluoride ion batteries offer 6 to 7 times the energy density of lithium-ion batteries, thereby paving the way for smaller and lighter batteries. And these Japanese researchers are claiming fluoride ion batteries could potentially become a viable option as early as 2030. So basically, we've got about 7 to 10 years, I would say, before this can actually become something serious commercially. That's what they're saying. All right. Electrodes in fluoride ion batteries require fewer materials than their lithium-ion counterparts. The new batteries could also theoretically be built without rare metals, reducing the likelihood of supply chain issues. So that's a plus because, we know about the critical metals, the critical materials like cobalt and nickel that are causing a lot of issues in terms of supply chain to lithium-ion battery production, and actually is a concern for sodium-ion batteries. I will talk about that in another video. Watch out for it. So it's great to know that this is not a problem for fluoride ion batteries potentially. So that's an encouraging thing that they're talking about there. Now, fluoride ion batteries are not necessarily new, actually. The chemistry of negatively charged fluoride ions transferring from one electrode to another for energy generation has existed for several years. So basically, you can see here we've got a different type of chemistry because in the case of lithium, sodium, aluminium, calcium, we've pretty much got positively charged ions transferring from one point to the other in the cell. But in this case, they're actually negatively charged fluoride ions. So the electrochemistry is definitely going to be different. Now, they're not new, so let's see how the research into fluoride ion batteries have developed over the years. Okay, in the 1970s, researchers attempted to create rechargeable fluoride batteries using solid components. But solid-state batteries work only at high temperatures, making them impractical for everyday use. Okay, that basically is talking about the resistance and the freedom of the ions and charges to transfer from the cathode to the anode in the cell, because without that happening rapidly and freely, you won't be able to get the charging and discharging part of the cell to actually happen. And this is a consideration for solid-state batteries. The reason solid-state batteries are challenging is because batteries drive electrical currents by shuttling charged atoms or ions between a positive and negative electrode. The shuttling process proceeds more easily at room temperature when liquids are involved. Otherwise, elevated temperatures will be required to make solid batteries operate like cells with liquid electrolytes. And this is the case with solid-state lithium and other type of solid-state batteries, in the sense that some of them only operate at elevated temperatures. But in the case of your lithium-ion, sodium-ion, and the other type of liquid electrolyte-based cells, they can operate at room temperature and to a fairly moderate elevated temperature. So this challenge is common with solid-state batteries. The problem with solid-state batteries only working at high temperature was also a challenge for lithium solid-state batteries, but companies such as Solid Power have successfully developed ones that work well at room temperature. So basically, this is something that we would discuss in another video to look at actually what Solid Power has been able to do and review some of their actual laboratory and production line data of their cell, so we can actually see the testing result and compare to actually say how well are these cells doing as solid state lithium cells. Now, Kyoto University has led the development of fluoride ion batteries in Japan. In 2017, it carried out one that works at room temperature. Conventional research had focused on solid-state batteries, which could not conduct fluoride ions effectively unless heated to 150 degrees C or hotter. Guys, that is super hot. You can imagine that. The university's battery solved this problem by using an electrolytic solution containing organic fluoride. Okay, so you can see that in this case they've used organic fluoride, and with this kind of organic solvent you can actually have better mobility of the ions at room temperature. In 2018, researchers, including those from California Institute of Technology and NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, JPL, found a new way of making rechargeable batteries based on fluoride. Their study figured out how to make the fluoride batteries work using liquid components, and liquid batteries easily work at room temperature. The challenges with their proposed scheme were making the system work at usable voltages. According to the researchers from JPL, the key to making the fluoride batteries work in a liquid rather than a solid state turned out to be an electrolyte liquid called bis 222 trifluoroethyl ether. So it's a liquid electrolyte they use in this case. This solvent is what keeps the fluoride ion stable so that it can shuttle electrons back and forth in the battery. However, manufacturing such electrolyte liquid at scale and at an affordable price is one of the many hurdles to be crossed. Okay, so that's typical of developing batteries for commercial application. The Honda Research Institute announced in 2018 some important breakthroughs in fluoride ion battery research under a joint effort with NASA and the California Institute of Technology. So pretty much they're working with the US to get that done. In 2020, Kyoto University and Toyota Motor tested a solid-state fluoride ion battery prototype. Last year, 2022, a group of researchers, including Kenichi Okazaki, now an associate professor at Ritsumeikan University, released an analysis of the reactions of bismuth and lead-based electrodes in a fluoride ion battery, along with their effect on charging and discharging. The bismuth in the cathode reacted directly with the fluoride ions, causing the electrode to swell. The lead at the anode, meanwhile, dissolved into the electrolyte solution and deposited crystals on the electrode surface. So you have something like an electrochemical deposition process occurring whereby lead is being deposited on the electrode surface. Okay, that's very established chemistry going on there. These differences affect the number of charging cycles a battery can go through. Okay, so this one is pretty much kind of a straightforward electrochemical electrodeposition process whereby they're using bismuth and lead to facilitate charging and discharging this fluoride ion battery. The results provided a direction in the search for battery materials, Kazaki said. By 2025, the researchers plan to develop a prototype battery with copper and aluminum electrodes. Okay, these materials are cheap and less risky to procure than other options. I think that makes more sense than bismuth and lead, in my opinion. They also aim to improve the voltage from the 0.3 volts achieved with the bismuth lead battery to at least 2 volts, which is the level needed for commercial use. Okay, the level needed for commercial use is a bit higher than 2 because your lithium titanate or LTO batteries actually have a nominal voltage of about 2.3 volts. So it's kind of close to that. Your NMCs and lithium-ion batteries used for EVs and energy storage usually have a nominal voltage of about 3.7 or 3.2 for LFP. So with 2 volts, I think there's a bit of wiggle room there, but it would still not be as compared to the other ones. But I guess because the chemistry is different, they're able to get away with a bit more higher energy density. I mean, using cheaper materials like aluminum and copper, which are available in the earth crust and have, at least for now, little or no supply chain issues. I think that makes a bit more sense in terms of the grand scheme of commercialization and making the batteries at scale. So this is the story of fluoride battery development so far. You can see from 1970 to 2022, you can see how the development has gone so far. So they've been working on this for a number of years and making some progress in terms of developing the chemistry and trying to move towards commercialization and testing prototypes and things like that. So in my opinion, as an electrochemical engineer, and making cells like this in the lab on a daily basis, because I work on different types of batteries, from lithium to sodium to other types of batteries as well. In my opinion, I think it's an exciting news to have a new battery chemistry on the block. It's great to have something new because for my opinion, I don't think lithium can solve the world's problem alone as a battery chemistry. So having alternatives is pretty good, and I don't think they have to all try to dominate over lithium or be the number one. I think they can all complement each other and work together so that we can have a much better and stronger supply chain and production for renewable energy and battery storage systems. So there are several challenges actually that I see to the practical application of a fluoride battery. And this is purely from an electrochemistry point of view because, it's a very corrosive and reactive type of battery. Just because of what's inside, you've got fluoride in there. I mean, the reason why we move from liquid lithium-ion batteries and sodium-ion batteries is because the electrolytes are actually made with fluoride-containing compounds, that is LiPF6 and NaPF6, and all these materials, all these compounds that have fluoride in them are very reactive and corrosive, and that's why the lithium-ion batteries with liquid actually catch fire. But in the case of the solid ones, they don't use those chemicals, so you do not have that challenge there. So if you're now making a battery that is completely fluoride, that is very risky and very corrosive and reactive. Also, making fluoride conducting liquid electrolytes that are more readily conducting with ions is not a very straightforward proposition, because fluorides don't dissolve in a lot of things, and if they do, they react rather than just being there to carry out charge transfer. Regardless of this, the solvents that they've tried to date in most of these literatures and press releases, they can't support high concentration of fluoride ions or useful operating voltage for high energy density. So it's a bit concerning. There has been additional problems of the electrode dissolving in the electrolyte. That's not a good thing for a battery system because that poses a lot of danger in terms of side reactions occurring, and you're having explosions and fires being generated. So that's a bit of a concern as well. So there's certainly a lot of hurdles that need to be crossed before fluoride ion batteries become a really serious thing to talk about. And for me, in the meantime, I think lithium is going to continue being the king. Sodium, aluminium, and the rest would be supporting as much as they can. But I'd like to hear what you guys think. What do you think about this fluoride ion batteries and this development? Do you think that it's something that we should just ignore and forget about it, or do you think that researchers should continue working on them and try to develop them, and we can have it as an additional side dish to lithium to support our energy storage pursuit? Let me know what you think in the comment section. I'd like to hear from you guys. And if you enjoyed this video, please show your support by smashing the like button, share this video with a friend, make sure to subscribe to this channel. I love you, I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next video.